Hi, wonderful leaders. Welcome to the Weekly Connect for June 21st and 22nd. Our memory verse is still Psalm 111, verse 9. And we are reading for story time today out of Matthew and Acts. And we will be talking about the ascension of Jesus and the coming of the Holy Spirit. So before the story in your small group, you're going to do a game called Memory Verse Blow Up. You're going to have a balloon in your room. I don't know if it'll be blown up or not. It depends on what your campus coordinator decides to do. But write your memory verse on the whiteboard in your room and make sure that your balloon is blown up when the kids come in. Practice the memory verse over and over. Have them do different things while they recite the memory verse. Jumping jacks, twirling in circles, patting their head and rubbing their tummy, things like that. And when you think they've got it down, have the kids form a circle and take the balloon, and the kids want to keep the balloon in the air as they go around and say their memory verse. Do this until you run out of time. And if you happen to not get to the balloon part, you can always do it at the end if you have extra time after the story. So go into large group, and you will be doing both a connect question and a connect activity. So your connect question is, when did you experience a big change in your life, and what was the big change you experienced, such as moving, going to a new school, or getting a new sibling. So you can have them answer to the big group, or you can have them answer in pairs. And then you're going to do the activity called Guess My Big Change. And with that activity, you're going to invite the kids to pair up, and each kid is going to act out what response they had to the connect question if they didn't answer. And so if they moved, hopefully they can act out, maybe putting things in a suitcase or a box and picking them up and taking them somewhere else. And the other kid is going to guess, and then the kid who guessed is going to reciprocate with acting it out. After that, you are going to go straight into your story, which is God's Spirit changes everything. And with that, of course, we are talking about God's Holy Spirit. Right after VBS, this lesson is particularly close to my heart because all of us storytellers prayed that the Holy Spirit would be with us and on us and in our words when we were teaching during the week of VBS. And so, of course, having the Holy Spirit in our words and our actions and our hearts is a huge deal. So that Jesus had to ascend to heaven in order for us to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit was, though sad for the people at the time that they couldn't hang out with Jesus anymore, but awesome for us that we receive the power of the Holy Spirit when we trust completely in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So make sure you read your story really well. If you want to use the visuals, we have tons of visuals to use along with your story this week, and they're called speech bubbles. So if you have a person who sits back and does your visuals at the computer, make sure you maybe coordinate with them this week before you teach so that they know that they have a script, that they know when they're going to go to the next bubble, and so on and so forth. So just make sure you've got plenty of time to prepare this week. And if you're out at the park with the kids or sitting by the pool with the kids, maybe bring your lesson along and just go through it while they're swimming or swinging at the park or going down the slide, whatever. So after your story, go into your worship and offering time. Do not forget the offering segment of worship. It is a very important form of worship and one that we here at Crossroads are trying to teach the kids and get them to be really involved in. It's also a great time to go over who the offering is going to at your campus. And when I do the curriculum, I write into the script in parentheses a little spot where that time is appropriate so you can go into who your offering is going to. And then, of course, you go into your blessing, which is long, so I won't read it out to you guys. It's Ephesians chapter 3, verses 16 through 19, and it just expresses his power and his love and how we can't grasp how long and how wide and how deep his love and his power is for us. So after that, transition into small group, and you can do one of two or both of these things. You can do the reflect questions, which are the review questions, and or the create, which is called shaping our hearts. You will have modeling dough in your room. I call it modeling dough because my children and I are going to have fun experimenting with making homemade Play Play-Doh. So it will be hopefully a nice mix between Play-Doh and modeling clay. And we're going to try to make enough that each kid, given about this much, maybe I guess a little bigger than a quarter size of a ball of dough, they can form what they think, or something that reminds them of how God has changed their life. So maybe God has changed their heart and they can do a heart, or maybe God has changed their parents, and so maybe they can do a little stick figure of their parent. I wanted to be able to have the kids take their creations home with them, so that's why I'm making it homemade. So hopefully it comes out. If it doesn't come out, there will be a last minute Play-Doh in your room. So either which way, let them take it home. And if you are on next week teaching, or if you'd just like to know what is being taught next week during Storytime, we are going to go over Paul and his conversion. So Saul to Paul and his conversion, and that can be found in Acts chapter 9, verse 1 through 31. And just before I forget, because I didn't say it earlier, our story this week in the Bible will be found in Matthew chapter 28, verse 16 through 20, and Acts chapters 1 and 2. So sorry to revert there. And for those of you who helped out with VBS, so many thanks. You've been in my prayers all weekend. I know there's a lot of sickness that's been going around, and I'm sure you guys are just bushed. So thank you so much for your help, and we just look forward to serving with you. And it is one of the biggest blessings amongst our children's staff that we have such committed and wonderful volunteers that the Holy Spirit just works through to love and guide these children every year at VBS. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, don't forget to give them their take-home sheet and push their Remember Sunday morning checklist, Bible offering, and last week's at-home sheet, which is this, and remind them that if they fill out these 3 questions about the story that they learned this week, these 3, that they can get a small prize or a small piece of candy, whatever your campus coordinator has decided to give out. But just remember to take that home. Also, one last thing, this is the last week I am keeping the registration for the apologetics class open, and apologetics is the study of our faith, and we go deep into why we believe what we believe and how to defend that to the secular world around us, and even to other religions, people of other religions. And that class is at Thornton campus every Sunday morning, except for this coming Sunday morning, because I'll be teaching up at Fort Lupton for Angie, but every Sunday morning through the summer at the 9:30 service up in room 201. So if you'd like more information on that, you can contact Denise McAnally at denise.mcanally@crossroadsabc.com, or me at aspen.sorensen@crossroadsabc.com. Either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and lots of time to prepare. Please pray over your lesson. Pray for the teachers that will be teaching it if you're not. And I will be praying right along with you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.